Hello and welcome to CitizenM Hotel on London's Bankside. Now in this video I want to talk through the application of the Blue Ocean process. And I'm going to do that using this hotel as the example. Now if you remember, we're talking about theories of where competitive advantage comes from. In this case, competitive advantage comes from activities, or more accurately, changing activities. And so it is a dynamic perspective. Now, for Chang Kim and Rennie Mulburn, the core of Blue Ocean strategy is searching outside of conventional industry boundaries. So rather than looking at beating the current competition in the existing market space, they urge firms to look methodically across those boundaries and so find unoccupied territory that represents real value innovation and therefore much more closely matches the needs of customers. Now in doing that, Kim and Mulburn's research over a couple of decades now suggests that success is not about great companies, but instead it is about great strategic moves. What are those actions and decisions you take to create new market space? In the last video, you remember we talked about Cirque du Soleil and how they had changed the concept of a circus. Is it still a circus? Or is it a musical? Or is it a theatre performance? It's none. It's created a new market space. And in doing that, it has eliminated and reduced some aspects of what a traditional circus is, whilst raising and creating other competitive factors that more closely match what customers need. Now, as I said at the end of the last video, at the core of Blue Ocean is a systematic process, and this steps companies through the exploring of the market, and so finding out what customers really want and where their pain points are with the current industry offerings. Then that feeds a structured brainstorming process through which you develop and then select the Blue Ocean offering that you're going to target. So let's look at CitizenM Hotels. Well, CitizenM was founded in 2008 and opened its first hotel at Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam. Quickly followed a hotel in central Amsterdam and one in Glasgow. It now has 20 hotels in 15 cities and has a further 17 hotels in development. Now CitizenM has set itself up to serve a growing mass of frequent travellers, mobile citizens as the hotel calls them, and offer them affordable luxury, a big ask. And this is where Blue Ocean comes in, as CitizenM use this process to develop the concept for their hotels. Effectively, the Blue Ocean space they're creating is a hybrid. It's a place to sleep, that's a normal hotel, but also somewhere you're happy to work, relax and just hang out. So how do you use the Blue Ocean process? The first part of the process, the market exploration stage, is identifying what the gap is between what the current industry offering is, how does the industry currently compete, and looking at how that differs from what customers really need. What are customers' pain points with the current offering from the industry? And then once you understand that gap, you then have this structured brainstorm process to look for the strategic moves you can make. So how are you going to change those factors of competition? What are you going to eliminate and reduce to enable you to increase other factors and create new ones? And once you have a set of new value curves, you then select the most promising and validate it. before moving ahead to implementation. So let's step through these processes, starting with understanding how the industry currently competes and the tools that Kim and Mulburn suggest you should use. Well, for looking at how the industry currently competes, we're looking to build the as-is value curve on the strategy canvas. So here you need to focus on how managers currently think about the industry. Where are they focusing, trying to win against their peers? So you're looking at one of those factors that are currently the focus of competition. Now, price is obviously always one of those, but in different industries you'll have different factors that make up the rest of the current proposition. So in terms of competing factors in the traditional hotel industry, well, factors of competition are things like the reception and the lobby staff, the bellhops and concierge service there. Most hotels will offer some form of restaurant and serve you food and drinks to your rooms. Amongst better quality hotels, there is competition about how prestige the lobby is, the range of room types that you can book, and in terms of how big are the rooms, as well as the comfort of those rooms. And something everyone is interested in, what's the location? How close is it to the centre of that city you're travelling to? There will be other factors as well. Although as you go through the process, you'll cut that number down to the ones that you are looking to change. Now in each case, you're looking at the amount, the absolute level of that factor. So how prestigious is the lobby? How many different room types? What is that room size? How close to the centre of the city is it? So it's absolute level rather than the perception of customers. I must stress here, it is not the perception of customers you're looking at, but what managers hold to be important, yes, in serving the customer, but also in terms of generating profitability. And then if across those factors we look at what different level hotels offer, you will see the traditional segmentation of players in the market. 5-star hotels will be high on all those competing factors. 4-star hotels a bit lower, 3 stars lower still, and 1 stars going even lower. So in terms of those mobile travellers, they have a choice in terms of their budget about the overall package of those competing factors they receive when they check into a different sort of hotel. Let's hear from Michael Levy, one of the 2 co-founders of CitizenM, and his view on how the traditional hotel industry is a red ocean.
So the hotel industry is a really red ocean. The competition is fierce. People try to outdo each other. The industry is not very creative. The industry is very bland, and I think that the best to prove that is that brands take down their name and logo and sell a property to another brand. So from a brand proposition, nothing changes. It's just the logo and the name. Hotel star classifications are really 5-star, and all the 5 stars compete in the red ocean. All the 4 stars compete in the red ocean. All the 3 stars compete in the red ocean.
So a red ocean with little to choose between hotels of different categories. All the 5-star hotels, much the same. All the 4-star hotels, pretty much similar. All the 3 stars competing in red ocean space. So we have a view of how the industry currently competes from the perspective of managers in that industry. Let's move on and now look at the offering from the customer's perspective and look at what are those customer pain points with the current proposition. Now in this, we need to gain a direct understanding of what really matters to customers. And in this, Kim and Mulburn push managers to go out and directly interact with customers. So rather than relying on secondary or primary customer research through their marketing team or external consultancy, they push the chief executive, the executive team to go out and talk to customers, find out what really is going on in those customers' lives, and so uncover hidden pain points. In this, you need to look across the full range of the ways in which the industry delivers utility to buyers, the full range of how it delivers value, and more importantly, in what it does, how it blocks utility, how it makes life more difficult for those customers. Now, in order to get a better understanding of buyer utility, you need to look outside of the conventionally defined boundaries of an industry. Kim and Mulburn suggest in doing this, you need to look across the full buyer experience cycle and also consider the different ways in which utility value can be delivered to customers. And to help managers with this, Kim and Mulburn offer a tool they call the buyer utility matrix. So the matrix consists of two parts. Firstly, what are the stages of the buyer experience cycle? In a traditional product, the customer buys the product, it's delivered to them or they take it home with them, they use it, they may buy supplements to go with it, there's a question of maintenance, and at the end of its life there's the disposal of that product. Now, in different industries, this journey will be defined in different ways. And an important step is, as a management team, to agree what that cycle is and come to a shared definition of each stage in the cycle. Now, in addition, Kim and Mulburn say you need to look across the full range of what they call buyer utility levers, i.e. ways in which the offering adds value to customers. And Kim and Mulburn suggest 6 of these. Many are obvious: environmental friendliness, the fun and image of the offering, what are the risks involved with that offering, the convenience factor, how simple is the product to obtain and to use, and also in terms of the impact it has on customers' productivity. That is, how efficiently does the offering fulfill customers' needs? Now, those two axes produce a grid of cells. And what Kim and Mulburn suggest is working through each of those cells to identify the pain points. In each, ask what is the biggest block to utility being delivered to the customer and what is the reason for that block. If you're short of time and doing a case study exercise, you may want to use a simplified version of the buyer utility matrix. But turning to CitizenM hotels and the full grid, you'll see firstly the definition of the buyer experience cycle so that it works for the hotel industry. So you're booking, you're checking in, you're staying, maybe accessing services, possibly there's service recovery, and then you check out when you leave the hotel. In terms of the pain points we're seeing here, well, in terms of purchase, that risk of hidden costs, maybe city tax or price fluctuations when you book the hotel. In terms of check-in, having to wait in line to check in. You come off a flight, made to the hotel, what you want to do is get to your room, you're in a queue. In terms of during the stay, many are upset by slow internet speeds and difficulty in connecting. For a 3-star hotel, the location is possibly a long way from where you want to be, and the bed, the shower can be of a poor standard, and it's probably a dull environment in which to hang out. You may access some of the services, but food and drink is only available at some point, and room service is expensive. And it comes to checking out, well, you have to wait in line again to pay your bill. So a lot of pain points for customers with the current industry offering. So we've now got a view of how the industry competes from the perspective of managers, and also what pain points are from the perspective of customers. And so we understand the gap between the current industry offering and what customers really need. And the next stage is that structured brainstorm as to the strategic moves that we can make. Now, Kim and Mulburn suggest a tool they call the 6 paths model to help managers broaden their brainstorming. Now, effectively, these are 6 lenses through which to look and to brainstorm. And in the full process, the management team would work through each of these 6 paths. So looking at predictions about the future, what does that suggest in terms of strategic moves we could make? Looking at alternative industries, and can we borrow ideas from elsewhere? Strategic groups, in this case looking at the different categories of hotels. What is the broader purchasing group, the value web, that make the decision for purchase? What are complementary products and service offerings that would prompt us to think in a different way? And if our offering is very functional, can we look at it from a more emotional perspective, or vice versa? Going through each of these suggests a set of changes that we capture into the eliminate, reduce, increase, create grid, the ERIC grid. In terms of CitizenM hotels, this is what they generated. In terms of eliminate, well, customers don't really want a front desk or that concierge service. After all, these are often tech-savvy individuals who can look up anything on Google. Customers don't need that prestigious lobby. It has no value to them. And bellhops, doormen, well, if you're a regular traveller, you're travelling light, and you just want to get to your room quickly, and you don't want to feel you need to tip someone to carry your bag up to your room. And in terms of a full service restaurant and room service, well, you don't use it. You're in a large city, and there are plenty of good options about where to go to eat and drink. In terms of reduce, well, CitizenM reduced guest room types, so standardised on the type of room and reduced the room size. Now that meant they could fit in more rooms into a hotel and therefore spread the real estate cost across a wider number of guests. And by standardising on room types, cut costs in furnishing and equipping those rooms. Interestingly, CitizenM use a modular build approach to their hotels, so standard rooms are built off-site, then just slotted into the frame of the hotel. Now those eliminate and reduce factors cut costs and allowed CitizenM to increase and create other factors. In terms of increase, well, they focused on providing the best sleeping environment possible. A king-size, high-standard bed, and in the room a good shower. And by cutting down on room sizes, the real estate cost reductions meant that CitizenM could move to more prime locations, still charge an affordable room rate. They also increased the availability of internet, give free movies and free phone calls. And then in terms of create, well, rather than having a front desk, CitizenM used ATM-style self-check-in terminals. They have also created in the hotels a guest living room that has a 24/7 bar and pantry, free IMAX to use, lots of art and books, and a comfortable environment where guests are happy just hanging out or working. And then they also introduced multitasking ambassadors there to help you, maybe with your check-in, maybe to mix a cocktail, maybe to get you a snack. And these ambassadors are not hired for particular skills, they're hired for attitude and willingness to help guests. Let's again hear from Michael Levy, this time about creating their Blue Ocean offering.
The Blue Ocean thought that we created with that is how about creating our own classification? How about taking from 5-star what is important for a frequent traveler? How about taking from a 4-star, from a 3-star, and combining it so that the price is right, the location is AAA, and you feel comfortable and are serviced by great ambassadors. CitizenM eliminated the front desk reception area altogether. Usually a big aggravator for people. You stand in line to get in, you stand in line to get out. Instead, we said, can we give control to the guest? And we've done so through kiosk, just like at an airport checking in for your flight. It's a quick in and out control, and we're able to check people in on average, including payment, under 3 minutes. CitizenM eliminated restaurants because our locations are always a AAA location in the metropolises in the major cities. People want to walk out and choose their restaurant. They like to entertain. They want to go out. In the hotel industry, you will find a doorman, a front desk clerk, a reservation clerk, a housekeeping this, a restaurant. So there's all kinds of different disciplines and staff. We just have one staff, ambassadors. Our ambassadors really do everything. They could host you as you check in. They could make an incredible barista make a cup of coffee for you. They could shake a cocktail for you. Now, you never know where they are, but they're always with you and around you. And that gives them a sense of pride. And the great result is that really because we have less ambassadors or need less ambassadors, it's about 50% of the staffing that a regular hotel needs. We've been able to be very efficient in our construction and bring the construction costs down. And with having more rooms because of the size in the hotel, we're able to share that with the guest. So if you look at 5-star pricing and our pricing, yeah, we're 30-40% cheaper than the 5-star hotel. Our CitizenM Blue Ocean approach really has set us apart from the industry. We have eliminated what the guests don't want. We have increased what they're looking for. Instead of competing in the red ocean of the hotel industry, CitizenM made a blue ocean shift.
So putting that onto a strategy canvas, we instantly see how the CitizenM model is different from traditional hotels. By charging just a bit more than a 3-star hotel, the elimination and reduction of factors have allowed them to offer 5-star standards in the areas that really matter to their customers. So we now have seen how we understand how the industry currently competes, analyse those customer pain points, and use those in a structured brainstorm process to determine the strategic moves that you make. Now, an important 4th step is the selecting and validating winning ideas. Now, when you're going through the process, you don't just develop one value curve. You develop a set of options, and then to get buy-in across the firm and from key stakeholders, you engage them in the process of selecting the value curve to move forward with. And for this, Kim and Malbone suggest the use of a value curve fair. Effectively, those optional value curves are presented to a wide range of people from the organisation, then displayed on walls around the room, and delegates wander around and talk to the creators of those value curves before ultimately voting on the value curve to take forward. So, CitizenM Hotel, a very different approach to hotels. And CitizenM has been hugely successful in the decade they've been operating in. As I said earlier, they now operate 20 hotels in 12 major cities. Their approach means that their cost per room is 40% lower than the average 4-star hotel, and salary costs are 50% lower than the industry averages. And because of the appeal of the offering, they have a 90% occupancy. That's compared with an industry average of 60%. And as a result of that, and that lower cost, they have the highest hotel profitability per square metre in the world. And add to that, they have the highest guest ratings in the industry. And to show you what that means, in 2019, the company raised around 200 million euros of capital, and that values the company at 2 billion euros. Not bad for a company that started only 10 years ago. So, Blue Ocean Strategy has a systematic process at its core. That involves a market exploration stage, understanding the gap between what the industry currently offers and what customers really need, a structured brainstorming process to generate those new value curves, and then a process for selecting and validating the winning value curves that you take forward into implementation. So in conclusion of this study unit and Blue Ocean Strategy, well, firms are bound by rigidities and path dependencies, and that means they can drift away from providing the value the market requires. Sometimes that can lead to failures. Blue Ocean Strategy is a way to address that. It challenges firms to look outside current industry boundaries and create new market space, blue oceans, that make the competition irrelevant. As we've seen in this video, the Blue Ocean process provides a set of frameworks to aid managers in recognising and occupying those new spaces. We've seen the Eric grid, value curves, the bar utility matrix. Now, like all strategy theories, there are criticisms that suggest it is not a panacea to solve all your strategy needs, but it is a highly useful tool for our strategy toolbox. Thank you for listening.